Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely confused, replaying every word in your mind and wondering whether the problem was actually you? Have you ever felt certain about something you saw or heard, only to be told with absolute confidence that it never happened that way? That unsettling moment, when your memory feels foggy and your certainty begins to crack, is often the quiet beginning of gaslighting. It does not arrive with shouting or obvious lies. It arrives subtly, wrapped in calm tones, gentle denials, and convincing certainty. And before you realize it, you are no longer defending your perspective. You are questioning your sanity. Gaslighting is not simply about deception. It is about control over perception. The human mind depends on memory and interpretation to construct reality. When someone repeatedly challenges those foundations, your brain begins to experience cognitive dissonance, the tension between what you know and what you are being told. To reduce that discomfort, many people unconsciously adjust their own memories instead of confronting the manipulator. Why? Because the brain seeks psychological safety more than it seeks truth. If accepting their version preserves connection, avoids conflict, or maintains emotional security, your mind may betray your certainty to protect your attachment. Imagine a relationship where one person consistently says, "You're overreacting," or "That never happened," whenever conflict arises. At first, you may push back, but over time, doubt seeps in. You begin to document conversations, question your emotions, and apologize for things you once felt justified about. This is not weakness, it is conditioning. The manipulator is slowly shifting the center of reality from your internal compass to their external narrative. The more you rely on them to define what is real, the less you trust yourself. The most dangerous part is that gaslighting often disguises itself as concern, logic, or love. It can sound rational, it can feel persuasive, and intelligent, self-aware individuals are not immune. In fact, those who value reflection and empathy may be even more vulnerable because they are willing to question themselves deeply. But here is the question that changes everything. What happens when self-reflection turns into self-erasure? When growth becomes self-doubt? Understanding that distinction is the first step toward reclaiming your psychological autonomy. To understand gaslighting more deeply, you must first understand how fragile perception truly is. Your brain does not record reality like a camera, it reconstructs it. Memory is fluid, shaped by emotion, suggestion, repetition, and authority. When someone confidently insists that an event happened differently, especially someone you trust, your brain begins to reconsider its own version. This is not stupidity, it is neurology. The mind constantly updates information to maintain coherence and social harmony. A manipulator exploits this natural flexibility. They repeat false narratives, dismiss your emotional reactions, and subtly imply that your interpretation is flawed. Over time, repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity begins to feel like truth. Consider how often confidence influences belief. If two people describe the same event but one speaks with unwavering certainty while the other hesitates, most observers instinctively trust the confident one. Gaslighters understand this psychological bias. They speak with calm authority, even when wrong. They accuse you of being too sensitive or dramatic, framing your emotional responses as instability rather than intuition. Slowly, you begin to monitor yourself more than you monitor them. You become hyper-aware of your tone, your reactions, your memory. Meanwhile, they remain comfortably unexamined. There is also a powerful emotional mechanism at play: intermittent reinforcement. Moments of affection, validation, or calm are mixed unpredictably with denial and distortion. This inconsistency strengthens attachment. You hold on to the positive moments and rationalize the confusion. You tell yourself they didn't mean it, or that you misunderstood. The brain releases stress hormones during conflict and relief chemicals when harmony returns, creating a biochemical cycle that mimics addiction. You are not just debating facts, you are caught in an emotional loop. The most unsettling phase arrives when you begin outsourcing your reality entirely. You ask them what you said, you ask them how you felt, You ask them whether your reaction was appropriate. Your internal compass weakens and dependence strengthens. The manipulator does not need to shout or threaten. Your self-doubt does the work for them. And here lies the suspenseful truth. Gaslighting succeeds not because the lies are perfect, but because the target slowly disconnects from their own perception. When you stop trusting your instincts, you surrender the very foundation of psychological freedom. But what if awareness could interrupt this cycle before it becomes identity? Awareness is the turning point where manipulation begins to lose its power, because gaslighting thrives in confusion but weakens under clarity. The moment you pause and ask yourself, why do I feel consistently uncertain after speaking to this person? You shift from self-doubt to investigation. Healthy relationships may include disagreement, but they do not repeatedly dismantle your sense of reality. Conflict can coexist with respect. Accountability can coexist with love. Gaslighting, however, replaces mutual understanding with psychological erosion. It is not about resolving truth. It is about dominating perception. When you recognize this pattern, you begin reclaiming authority over your inner world. One powerful defense is documentation, not to win arguments, but to strengthen your own clarity. Journaling your experiences helps anchor memory in written form, reducing the manipulator's ability to rewrite events. Another defense is emotional validation. Instead of immediately questioning whether you are overreacting, ask yourself what your reaction is trying to protect. Emotions are signals, not flaws. They point toward boundaries. When someone repeatedly dismisses your feelings, it is not your sensitivity that is dangerous. It is their refusal to acknowledge impact. Trusting your emotional data does not make you irrational. It makes you psychologically grounded. It is also essential to rebuild your internal compass through independent reflection. Seek perspectives from trusted friends, mentors, or professionals who respect your autonomy rather than override it. Isolation intensifies gaslighting because it removes alternative viewpoints. Connection restores balance. When others consistently affirm that your experiences make sense, the fog begins to lift. You remember that clarity once felt natural. You remember that confidence once came easily. And slowly, your sense of self reassembles. Perhaps the most empowering realization is this. Your perception is not perfect, but neither is anyone else's. Healthy influence allows room for dialogue, correction, and growth. Manipulation demands submission. When you notice persistent patterns of denial, blame shifting, or reality distortion, you are not obligated to prove your sanity. You are permitted to protect your peace. Psychological strength is not about never doubting yourself. It is about recognizing when doubt is being engineered. When you reclaim trust in your memory, your emotions, and your reasoning, you restore your autonomy. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.